Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Monday, the 20th of February. The year is fair cracking on. I'm Derek Clark, of course, and I'm joined this morning by none other than Stevie Clifford. How are we doing, Stevie?
Good morning, mate. Did you almost forget to introduce yourself here?
Forgot my own name there, actually, which is not a good start to the week, but it's, listen, it's good to talk all things Rangers once again, isn't it?
It certainly is, and another really positive weekend for the club. So now it's a build-up to the little matter of a cup final at the weekend.
Yeah, certainly. Loads to talk about, folks. Of course, another great result at the weekend over at the wonderfully named Tony Macaroni Arena, and then we had the Hall of Fame last night as well. So there's lots to discuss. Before we do that, just a quick reminder, we've got that tremendous offer on the website just now. Not only is it just £1 for 3 months worth of content, but you also get entered into a draw for 2 tickets to the League Cup final on Sunday. So make sure you subscribe, folks. It ends at midnight on Wednesday. So last couple of days to take advantage of it. Just head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe for all the details. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel for free. Over 11,500 of you now subscribing. So thanks very much for doing so. And a quick word for our sponsors as well. Seneca Hair Restoration, the #1 hair transplant corporation in Europe. These are the guys to go to, folks, if you're looking to reinvent the top of your head, perhaps. If you want a Todd Cantwell or something similar, then these are the guys to go to. Right, let's talk Rangers, Stevie. First of all, you were at the Hall of Fame Gala last night. How did it go?
Well, I was behind the scenes, Derek, so I wasn't actually at the gala as such, but I covered the behind the scenes access for Four Lads blog and also for Rangers Review. So we got some exclusive interviews with Alan McGregor, Stephen Davis, and the captain James Tavernier, which you'll be able to see, hear, and read on the sites, Rangers Review, on the next 3 afternoons. So that's good content as we head towards the cup final on Sunday. So it was, it was a great insight, Derek. It was really fascinating just to see how it all works behind the scenes. Obviously, got to see them speak to Sky, and then they spoke to our own Rangers television before coming and speaking to us. So it was great. By the time they kind of spoke to the fan media side of things, they were very relaxed, and it was a very nice discussion. Some good honest answers in there. We asked Alan McGregor, for example, some of his favourite saves, which was really interesting from his point of view, the ones that he recalls. There's a couple of really good ones in there. Similarly, we asked Stephen Davis about his favourite moments, his favourite goals, and James Tavernier the same. So some of the choices give you a wee bit of insight into how the players kind of feel about their own moments at the club as well. But overall, a really great night. It was really surreal because we were upstairs, Derek, kind of behind the scenes, away from things. The players came up and they were just kind of mulling about. So I was having a wee look around the shop. Obviously, it was closed, but having a look at some of the stuff, and I was there checking out an AC/DC jumper when a wee voice says to me next to me, that looks really good. And you turn around and it's Fashion Sakala with a big smile on his face.
Wow.
So it was very surreal. But the guy, do you know what? All credit to the players and Rangers staff, particularly the media team, for the access. But the players couldn't be nicer. I think we forget sometimes they're just normal guys, but when they come in and just say hello and speak to you, and that, it's a really surreal and nice thing. But congratulations first and foremost as well. We shouldn't forget that to the inductees, Alan, Stephen Davis and James Tavernier, all really, really well deserved from the three of them. And let's hope that come next weekend we've got more to celebrate.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. Of course, the inductees, folks, were the current squad members, Alan McGregor and Stephen Davis. I don't think anyone could decry that. Maybe a bit of dubiety, perhaps. Could there not be, Stevie, about James Tavernier? I can understand why he has been inducted, but for me, Hall of Fame, McGregor and Davis coming to the end of their careers, it's fair to say. But Tavernier, I think there's still a lot of miles in the tank yet. Is it maybe a bit too early to induct him? Where do you stand on that one?
You know fine well where I stand on that one, and you've seen me have loads of discussions online about it. So listen, all I'll say is that James Tavernier has captain Rangers an invincible season. He's also captained the club in a fantastic run to a European final. He has, I think he's got 95 goals and 112 assists. Crazy stat wise. But what I would say is the argument that he needs to win more and really cement his place is something that he discusses as well. So, with regards to the captain, I think we should put a wee bit of respect on his name. But there's also, at the same time, there's a very valid argument on the other side. But personally, you know what? I just think it's, it might be a nice wee boost for the guys ahead of Sunday, and that's all. And that's really the main concern. And they all speak really well about it. They're all quite excited. And it's also quite funny when we're interviewing James Tavernier, we get interrupted by a wee shout or two from the background from one of his teammates. So I'll let you all guess who that might be. But it was quite funny, and it's well worth a listen as well. So.
Yeah, excellent stuff. Robert Binney says Davies should have had his before now. It was stopped for a good number of years. Wasn't it, Stevie? Was it 2014 it stopped, something round about there, if I'm not mistaken? So obviously it's been reintroduced, which is a great thing, and it culminates in obviously the grand opening of New Edmonton House. So listen, I think lots of comments coming in with regards to whether Tav deserves it or not, but comments for Chris Hutton says he deserves it. Ross Armour says he captained us to arguably the most important title in our history. But there's other ones as well. I mean, Andrew Gill says, how many trophies has Tavernier won with the club? Are we Kilmarnock or are we Rangers? So that's the good thing about football. It's all about opinions. But yeah, the inductees, I think Davis, McGregor and Tavernier certainly up there and being deserving of the award. Yeah,
Derek, I think the thing about that is we could look at Ray Wilkins, who only won 3 titles in a very short time with Rangers, but everybody, I think, would be sitting saying that Butch deserves, his place in the Hall of Fame because of, how good he was and his kind of legendary status throughout the game. So, look, I think that if you were to categorise Rangers Hall of Fame differently, and perhaps have it on things won and stuff like that, certain people in there wouldn't get in there. But, it's what makes us great. There's a lot to discuss, and there's always a discussion about everything, Derek, isn't there? So I'm reluctant to get too knee-deep in it. I've been here before and gave my opinion in it, and it's kind of went the other way. But listen, if Tav was to bend one in on Sunday afternoon, and just like he did on Saturday there, I think we'd all be delighted, and there would be not really many arguments on Sunday night. So I hope he goes on and cements his legacy, add some more trophies, and then we can put this whole argument to bed.
Yeah, if it was based on trophies, then Dan Egan would be certainly up there for a shout for a Hall.
I think it's disgraceful that he's not in it already, to be honest, and Francis Jeffers too.
Yeah,
so a couple of starting names.
Yeah, Stuart's inquiry.
Yes,
absolutely. Ian Thompson agrees with you, Stevie. Says exactly, Stevie. It's all in the context of the times. Right, let's talk the actual football then. Another good result at the weekend. Solid result over at a venue that Rangers have historically done pretty well in recent years, but it's not a match. And Michael Beal said as much. It's never going to be a beauty contest with the surface that they're playing on. But Rangers professional in their display, winning by 3-0. James Tavernier with a double, one from the penalty spot, an absolutely sensational free kick in the second half before Camara got on the score sheet himself coming off the bench, which was great to see. Stevie, your big takeaways from the game at the weekend, a potential banana skin heading into the match on Sunday. I think the big surprise for me, and no doubt for you, was no Malik Tillman in the matchday squad for this one. Slight concerns if he's going to be fit for Sunday?
Nah, he looked fine last night. He was walking about absolutely fine. And hopefully he'll be okay. I think maybe just a precaution ahead of, on that pitch and ahead of on Sunday. So same with Ryan Jack. I expect both of them to be absolutely fine. What I would say about Saturday is that I thought it was an excellent result. I was really pleased with it. If you'd said to me beforehand, Derek, that we would look so comfortable and Alan McGregor wouldn't have a save to make, then I would have been, I would have taken that. When we 3 goals, created some good opportunities as well. Listen, I don't think it was perfect. People will say that there's dips and stuff, and we've spoke a lot about here on this, Derek, about the type of performances we've been getting under Michael Beal and stuff like that, and it was similar. Start strong, dip a wee bit, then push on again. Start well in the halves, have a wee dip, then finish strongly. It's the same kind of theme. We're searching for that Tynecastle 90-minute performance, but it's difficult. Livingston played one up front in Joel Newbley. They tried to fire it long, like they did the first game of the season. Now, if we remember that first game of the season, how much trouble they actually caused us with that long ball, and how difficult it was. The defending on Sunday was very, very good. Hat tip as well to Connor Goldson, who was magnificent against Newbley, and Ben Davis next to him, who look like a really strong partnership now. So give them credit. They really have come on. And, the big plus points, obviously, aside of the defending and the comfortableness, Nico Raskin was incredibly good. He looks, he's got a little bit of everything, a little bit of Gattuso in there, a little bit of, that energy, that drive. He's got the passing range. He's always progressive. It's always quick. He's got a real tempo to him, Derek. He wants to pop it off and play and set, the tempo for the whole squad. So that was really good. You've got Todd Cantwell next to him, who had a really efficient game. Sometimes overdoes it, goes and wins it back. Didn't think the front three clicked quite as well as they could have in the first half. But then we had an excellent cameo from Camara, who looked really sharp. His movement was fantastic. A really good goal. And so in terms of your big takeaways, if you're looking at the last 20 minutes or so, I think everybody looked at Camara and thought, if we could just keep this boy fit, then he would be such a attribute, such a weapon for us in our squad. But he was incredibly good on Saturday. And he was like the Camara that made such an impact on the 55 season. So a lot of positives in there. But I think the big takeaway for me, strangely enough, was how comfortable we looked on what is a really tricky place to go. Give me a 3-0 win at Livingston any day of the week. So I was really pleased.
Yeah, lots of comments coming in, touching on a number of different subjects from the game. Aldo says, I think Raskin is going to be massive on Sunday. I agree. I've been impressed with him from his couple of performances and that substitute appearance that he's made so far. Just touching on Roof, though, Stevie, some interesting comments coming in. I too was delighted to see him getting on the score sheet and looking sharp again. Blue Ninja says, Roof starting instead of Morelos on Sunday. He looked dangerous and lively when he came on. And Alan says, would you start Roof on Sunday? Is that a selection headache, do you think, for Michael Beal, or do you think he'll go with Alfredo up top to start?
Well, Camara could play on the right side, Derek. So it's a really interesting dynamic. He came on and he was right-sided. Listen, I don't think Fashion Sakala played that well on Saturday. Now, I don't think he was terrible. That's not my point. It's not a criticism. But I think when you look at overall contributions for the 90 minutes, Camara was on for 20 minutes and did himself no harm at all. Whereas Fashion was maybe a wee bit quieter. But there's a lot to be said, Derek, for Rangers tiring out teams. They're a bit different to how other teams play. There might be a perception in our support that we want to see Rangers go and smash teams 3-4-0 instantly and constant attacks. Rangers aren't really like that. We're a possession-based team. We really work to tire the opposition out. When you listen to Livy players and the manager from the weekend, they said that the way Rangers move the ball, the quickness and how they tire you out side to side, players that can dictate. Glenn Camara had a good game on Saturday, for example, a lot better popping it off and stuff like that. Then when Camara does come on for the 20 minutes with Fashion having done his work, and maybe we've not seen the attacking threat we've seen normally from Fashion, but Camara comes on and he gets all the space and he then gets to fresh legs against tired defences. So there's a lot to be said for that side of the argument as well. So it's not a criticism, but Camara did have a 20 minutes that would really put him, I think he's well within the kind of discussions for starting. I think that Camara, there's an argument here. I know Johnny said at the weekend. I don't quite agree with him. I still think Alfredo Morelos is our best number 9 on form, but Camara's movement and his finishing arguably is as good, if not better.
Yeah.
So, but he's a completely different player. I don't think we could play without Alfredo's strength and his holding up, etc. So if you get Kent, Morelos, Roof, possibly Fashion coming on, Cantwell coming on, options of Hadji, things like that. I think the midfield is going to be Raskin and one. So you're looking at it being Raskin and Jack or Raskin and Lundstrom. And hopefully Tillman would sit in front. But all of a sudden, Derek, you've got Camara, Lundstrom or Jack, you've got Cantwell, you've got Hadji, you've got Roof, you've got Cholak. The options now are starting to look a lot more fresh and a lot more better than they have been recently. So there is certainly a strength and depth, and there is, there is options for Michael Beal at the weekend, and he'll want it that way. So yeah, Camara's definitely in the mix. I was really impressed with him, with his 20-minute cameo on Saturday, that's for sure.
Yeah. Ian Edwards says he goes along with you, Steve, with regards to possibly playing on the right-hand side. He's going for a front three of Kent, Morelos and Roof. And I'll see, it's a question that I think, I'm not sure if I pose it to you or to Johnny at the tail end of last week with regards to the Livingston game, but I'll see says the other big issue is who plays next to Raskin. Camara get the nod. I thought he would do at the weekend. You mentioned Jack there, Stevie. Would you be inclined to possibly start him, just given his bite and what have you at Hampden? I guess it's dependent when we speak to Michael Beal, who will be available. We are speaking to him quite early in the week. So, I mean, things can change between Tuesday, I think it is, at the press conference, and of course Sunday. But just if we're playing devil's advocate and every midfielder is 100% fit, who are you selecting next to Nico Raskin, who for me is one of the first names in the team sheet?
Ryan Jack. So it's Jacko for me. I think we have to win the battle first. I would look to get 60 minutes out of Ryan Jack and then bring on John Lundstrom. And the only reason that John Lundstrom's not starting for me is that couple of weeks out. So I think that he would be the substitute choice. But I think we need to win the battle first. So Ryan Jack would play for me. I've been quite impressed with Ryan Jack's form before. He's kind of come out slightly with his wee knock, and he was sat out the Partick game anyway. Until I think the last couple of minutes. So the thing is, like Jim says there, Cantwell, Lundstrom, Raskin. For me, that's too lightweight, and I don't think it wins. And it's also, if you remember Michael Beale's comments, he said it would always be 2 from 4, and then one of the ones slightly in front. So if you're thinking you're one in front, would be Todd Cantwell wouldn't count as one of the 6-8 positions. He would play further forward, I think. So I would be really surprised. You've got to look at as well, Derek, the past performances against them, where we've lost the midfield battle. We got a bit of a doing at the start of the season because our midfield was Camara, centrally anchored in there. Tillman played, I think, off the right side and stuff. We didn't win that battle. We didn't follow the runners. And let's not be naive. They've got a strong midfield. McGregor, Hatate, O'Reilly are decent players, are very good players in form. So we need to win that first, and we need to stop them. We did it well at New Year, and I think 8 weeks on from what we did at New Year against them, 6, 7, 8 weeks, whatever it is, and we're a lot stronger now than we were then. So I think we're in a really good place going ahead of the cup final at the weekend, and we've got a real good shot. We won't be favourites, but that suits us. That suits us down to the ground. We have to win that midfield battle. So it's Ryan Jack for me starting next to Nico Raskin. So, and then Malik Tillman in front. So that would be my choice. But as you said, we'll speak to Michael Beale tomorrow at Hampden, get a wee bit of an update from him on the injuries and things, and then we can see what he says and how the injury are looking. I'm pretty convinced all of them will play. I'm sure they'll be fine. I'm sure that the likes of Ryan Jack's calf was most likely they're not going to risk him on that surface. So none of that really surprises me that he didn't play at the weekend.
Yeah, and Pete Lawrence says, is Tillman just been rested? Michael Beale was asked about this in his post-match press conference. He was asked about Lundstrom and Tillman and Jack. He says, They are big doubts for next week because they were not available. Malik has got a problem with his hamstring, Jacko with his calf, and obviously John with his ankle. I'm optimistic to think those, plus maybe Scott Arfield, will return to training at the back end of the week, but it will be touch and go. What you saw today might be what we have, and I was delighted with what I got today. I'm just hoping he's playing a bit of mind games there, Stevie, and the build-up to Old Firm Week. He's taken part in a number of them, of course, as a coach to Steven Gerrard. He took that team when Helander scored that goal when COVID ravaged the squad last season as well. So he'll know all about the pantomime of Old Firm Week. I just hope Tillman's a big one for me. That is the one player for me that has to start this game. He's a match winner. That being said, I know he's come on to a game, hasn't he, under Michael Beal, but I mean, the match at Parkhead, I think everyone would tend to forget. He was pretty anonymous there. The one at Ibrox, I thought he was okay. But you just want him fit and firing, don't you? He has to start this game if Rangers have got designs to win this trophy. Not saying that they wouldn't be able to win it if he wasn't playing, but he's a big player, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Of course he is. And he's got better and better. He also adds a lot of bite to the team. He can... Yes. He works really hard, and he's got such a great recovery, and he wins a lot of balls back. So if you think about who he might be up against on Sunday, say perhaps you think Jack, McGregor, Raskin maybe would go on to Hatate, I think, and then you would look at Tillman being up against O'Reilly. Now, O'Reilly is a similar luxury player. He can be quite quiet in games. He can, but he's capable. You know, he can play passes and he can take a shot and stuff like that. So I think Tillman's quite he would probably match up like for like in systems. I'm not saying they're similar players, but in the setups they maybe would go against each other. So Tillman's got the possibility there to go in and be able to influence our team and our game like he has. But, and this may be controversial, folks. It's not meaning to be, but Malik Tillman needs a big performance in one of these games. He's had it throughout, Derek. It's not a criticism, so it's not here to be, to try and have a go at him. That's not the case, but he's a young lad and everything. We know that. The trajectory of his Rangers career so far, we need him to have a really good performance at Hampden and light it up, so to speak. It might not be great for our chances if Bayern are watching, but in terms of us winning the cup and him having that really big performance, I think he's all set for it as well, Derek. He's really come on the last couple of months under Michael Beal. Maka says there he's a different animal. I completely agree. The work rate we're getting out of him and the ability, the little game changing moments and stuff is really, really exciting when we watch him. I think he'll be fine. Like, I genuinely do. Yeah. I'm not opposed to Michael Beal keeping people guessing ahead of the weekend. So let's get a big performance out of him. He can score the 4th and the 5th. I'm all right with that.
Yeah, me too. Lots of different comments coming in as well with regards to the events at the weekend. We'll touch on this one first. Millerman says, thoughts on Cantwell? If I lead on from that, Craig McIntyre says, do you think Cantwell will play at the weekend? What's your thoughts on that, Stevie?
No, I don't think he'll start. I think he'll maybe get some part in it. Look, Todd Cantwell, I think it's going to be a really decent squad option for us. There'll be times when he does play first team games. There'll be time where he gets minutes. It's up to Todd Cantwell to push on and kind of prove that he can start the really big games and not just be a squad kind of option. He's going to do well for Rangers. I don't think there's any doubts upon that. I think he'll be a really good, solid player. I would also say that on Saturday, I don't think the front three were as firing as could be in front of him, and include Kent in that. I include Morelos, as we've already spoken about Sakala. So they didn't do a lot. There wasn't a lot for Cantwell to kind of hit and do. Thought he worked really hard. He lost the ball a couple of times and retrieved it. He's got that eye for the pass. He wasn't outstanding or anything on Saturday, but I thought he was quietly efficient. I thought he did okay. It wasn't an 8, 9 out of 10. It was more of a 6, 7 efficient performance from him. I think I've watched him. I think he looks like he'll be fine. Other moments he'll be able to create goals and get assists and stuff, and he'll get decent numbers for Rangers, and he'll do a good return in his time here. He just needs to not. Again, he's only been here a couple of weeks, so I'm not trying to go over the top, but for me, he needs to kick on a wee bit before we would consider him starting the likes of Sunday for me. But he's also got a lot of competition in front of him. He's basically competing with Malik Tillman for Sunday. So if Malik Tillman doesn't make it, he's right in the reckoning.
Yeah, absolutely. Nice comment as well that come in from. I was just trying to find it now. Just on Bailey Rice, of course, making his debut at the weekend. Quite incredible. Gordon gets in touch. Morning, Gordon. Brilliant to see young Bailey Rice getting a start. Definitely one for the future. Such an exciting prospect and chose us over lots of other offers. Quite incredible. I mean, he captained Scotland under-17s in Spain on Friday afternoon. Then the next day, he's making his senior Rangers debut at just 16 years of age, Stevie. I read a stat where he was born, I think, the week that the Arctic Monkeys released their debut album, which makes us feel 106 years old. Quite incredible.
Yeah, proper Rangers Da stuff that when I read that. And I think he was born in 2006, which is just ridiculously scary. Congratulations to the young man. That comment there is quite an interesting one. When we kind of pinched him from Motherwell and brought him over to Rangers, there was a lot of Motherwell were quite upset at that.
Yeah.
In terms of Rangers getting a real good youngster, spoke to a couple of people that knew him from that time as well, and they speak really highly of him. Thought he did absolutely fine on Saturday when he came on. He looked for the ball, he used it. He had a wee run forward where he cut a ball back, which was really encouraging to see. He's a lefty as well, Derek. So there's something more elegant about a left-footer midfielder. We've all got a wee kind of fancy in our lifetime. We've seen the likes of, George Alberts, Gio himself, Kevin Thompson. We all warmed to them. That natural left-sided player that can play as such. So congratulations to the young man. Incredible, though, that he played on the Friday afternoon and then back to get a few minutes on the Saturday, but all credit to him and big congratulations. Now it's up to him to build on it and kick on and make sure he gets more minutes and make sure he gets more subs and he's in amongst it and training well. But he should be flying, and it's a real good thing for the other people and the other boys in the academy as well to see that. See Zach Lovelace on the bench and stuff at the weekend as well. So Good on them. Well done to Bailey Rice, and let's hope that it's more of what we're going to see.
Yeah, I like Michael Beale's comments on him after the game. He says, listen, it's been really tough in the time that I've been back. We've had a lot of interaction with the B team players coming across. Now they're in now they're in a men's league. You get to see them playing against people outside their age range. It's not age group football. Bailey is only 16, an interesting one. It's not often a young boy gets to play for Scotland on a Friday afternoon in Spain, then comes back and makes his Rangers debut on a Saturday. So what a weekend for that young man. He's at the starting blocks now. The starting blocks is getting a go in the first team, and then you have to go and earn everything after that. It's a pleasing moment for everybody that has worked with him, his family as well, that have been on his full journey. And as you know, folks, you can make donations to our YouTube channel. Super Chat, I believe it is. I may be mistaken. Holtz has done just that. Thank you very much for the £10 donation, buddy. He says, Rice, baby. Big week ahead. Looking forward to all the coverage. Keep up the great work, team. Absolutely superb. Thank you very much for that. A sensational weekend for young Bailey Rice. Let's touch on...
does that £10 potentially go into the celebration Sunday night fund?
Let's hope so. Let's hope that we are celebrating and toasting a first domestic trophy under Michael Beale. So that'll go into the fund.
Please speak to the boss about that one. So
interesting. I love this. Colin Cooper gets in touch. You've got to mention Martindale. I've got a lot of time for David Martindale, Stevie. I think he talks a good game. He's brings a breath of fresh air, I think, to Scottish football. Talks well. And I loved the little snippet when he talked about Tavernier's free kick at the weekend. He called him Tav. He says, I'm allowed to call him Tav or James or Mr. Tavernier. Of course, he got in a bit of trouble from a section of another team's support for saying Tav on I think it was a Battle Fever podcast a few months ago. But he's highly entertaining for me, David Martindale. But that shouldn't disguise what he's been doing at Livingston, which is an absolutely remarkable job there.
Yeah, let's pay tribute to Livingston a wee bit. First of all, Davy Martindale. I thought that Davy Martindale and Nicky Devlin, I think the Livingston captain, I hope I've got that right.
Yeah,
their tribute and their pre-match stuff with the young mascot who was on with using their defenders, Nicky to wear them as well, in solidarity and support for the young fella was lovely to see. A really nice touch and gestures. The photos beforehand, Davy Martindale going over to meet the wee man and stuff like that. Yeah. Listen, really well done to Livingston. Massive credit to them. And I'll tell you a wee story about Davy Martindale. I've actually spoken to Davy quite a few times. He's a big fan of fan media and supporting what we do. Davy actually organised our access for the start of the season, put us in touch with, I think the gentleman that does the stuff for Livingston is a boy called David Black. I hope that's right. He's a really nice man. And Davy put us in touch with him, and they organised it and let myself and David Degger from Heart and Hand go. And we've kind of got an open invitation to Livingston when we want to go. So that shows you the measure of Davy Martindale and how he supports what we're doing and kind of drops in every now and then. And we talk about, Stephen Kelly actually is somebody we talk about quite a bit, because I always drop in and ask, how Stephen Kelly doing, and somebody that we keep an eye on a wee bit. So big fan of Livingston. They're a great wee club, very welcoming for us. And I thought that their conduct on Saturday and how they done for the wee fella and organising everything for the wee mascot was absolutely fantastic. So nothing but credit for Livingston. Well done to them, and well done Davy, the captain, Nicky Devlin, and all the team there. So, yep, full of praise for them. That was really lovely to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Hats off to Davy Martindale and to Livingston. He's going great guns there. Okay, folks, I think that we'll touch on this. We'll touch on this. Some comments coming in here, Stephen. Michael Beal did touch on this. He was asked about it after the game. He says, Robert Robertson, love the Union Bears, but that banner was out of order. Beal did the right thing. Back him, of course. A banner, just following on from that match against Partick Thistle, unveiled a banner saying 2 trophies in 11 years, uphold the standards that matter. Beal was quizzed on that after the game. He says, I wasn't surprised or disappointed. They pay their money and support the club. And when I'm gone, they'll still be here supporting their club. So I understand the frustration sometimes. I thought the right thing was done. We're through in the cup and we won 3-0 today. We've got a lot to be thankful for, but I get the emotions. I was a fan before I was a coach. Slightly surprised by the banner at the weekend, Stevie. I think he's had a great start, Michael Beal. But listen, football, as I mentioned before, is all about opinions. And it's an emotive thing, what Michael Beal did last week, isn't it? I mean, it created a fair bit of debate after that. So, but I'm not entirely sure that was the best thing to do. But hey ho, who am I to say? But nice reaction from Michael Beal on that.
Yeah, look, Michael Beal's he's not silly. Look, he knows, and Michael Beal. What I will say is Michael Beal's really supportive of us and what we do. He's a really nice guy. Obviously, I've spoken on here before about my kind of how I've got on well with him and stuff like that. So I think he handled it superbly well. I'm going to be controversial here. I can see exactly what the lads are meaning. 2 trophies in 11 years for this club isn't anywhere near the levels that it needs to be. So I understand that. And their viewpoint is that what happened to Rangers, a decade or so ago, nobody cared about us then. Nobody was prepared to stand up for us. So why should we be looking to be friends and make favours? That's their viewpoint. And I understand that completely, Derek. I really do. There's a question regarding the timing and, with regards to it being misconstrued that it was at Michael Beal, which I don't believe it was. I think it's more on they want to see if standards are okay in some places, we really need to get Rangers Football Club back to winning, domestically all the time. So it might have been a bit of a mixed message in terms of maybe the timing could have been better, maybe it could have been worded differently. I don't know. But I understand completely what they were saying. Doesn't mean I agree with it, but I understand it. I agree in parts with some of the message and stuff like that. So fine. But as you say, the guys are there all the time. They pay their money. They're entitled to do what they think's right. It'll obviously cause a lot of discussion with our support. But I think ahead of Sunday, I want to get us all united and looking forward. And we've got, look, on the review and on, fan media, the Four Lads and stuff, we'll have some great content. I think, Derek, there's going to be an interview with one of the players every single day on the site, So with regards to supporting us and signing up and looking forward to the weekend and stuff, we're going to have some great content. All the players are much aligned. Interesting, last night we spoke to Alan McGregor off the camera and asked him, I joked with him. I said, who told you last week that that second goal was going to stand? Just what I joked about. And he said, funnily enough, no one. But I was looking over and Michael Beal made a wee gesture and then quickly kind of went back to the bench and stuff. But Alan said, and this is Alan's own words, he thought it was entirely the right thing to do, and he backed it 100%. So, and he spoke really highly about doing the right thing and stuff like that. So I think that speaks, I think everybody's behind Michael Beal and the decision he made in the dressing room. So I think we just need to kind of park it. It's happened, and let's move on and concentrate on the weekend.
Yeah, totally agree. Okay, folks, that'll do us there. Thanks to everyone for interacting with the show. It's greatly appreciated. Big thanks to Stevie as ever. Just a reminder, if you want to be in with a chance of winning 2 tickets to that League Cup final on Sunday, all you have to do is sign up to the Rangers Review. Just £1 for 3 months worth of content. It's a cracking giveaway. All you have to do is head over to rangersreview.co.uk/subscribe to sign up. It'll take you 2 seconds to do so, and that'll be you entered into the draw. And if you're already a subscriber, folks, you can also enter the draw. You should have received an email, an entry form by now. If you haven't seen it in your inbox, have a look in your spam or your junk folder. It may have popped in there, so you can put your name forward if you haven't already got tickets to the big one on Sunday. Okay, I won't be back here tomorrow. I'm off tomorrow, but it'll be likely be Joshua and Johnny will be back on. So enjoy them both, and I'll speak to you again on Wednesday. Until then, bye for now.